Hi, welcome to Advantage Horsemanship TV. On today's show, we're going to be doing part 5 of our 8-part series on rehabilitating and retraining an off-the-track thoroughbred. So make sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Scott Purdom here. I'd like to explain the Bitless halter. It's got many great features, from a thin, stiff rope that gets horses off of pressure quickly and easily. It has a twisted pole piece that does the same thing. The snap, once you size it once to your horse, it makes it easier for you to take on and off. But the piece that really makes this product set apart from others is the strap that goes underneath the chin. What this does when you tie the reins to it, it works as leverage, pulls down over the top part of the nose, works exactly like a bit does. So if you want to go bitless, this is the tool for you. Well, welcome back. Today we're going to be showing you our third ride on this horse, Yogi, and we actually have ridden this horse a second time since the last episode. I rode for about only half hour, 45 minutes, started seeing some of the attitude that you saw last week's episode. It's been about, the horse had about a couple days off between footage, but we're back now trying to get this third ride done, and that attitude, when it came out, we saw a little bit of the ear pinniness, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the first ride. The first ride, if you remember, the horse wanted to kind of buck a couple times. She threatened to rear up a little bit, kick out at me. She wasn't real thrilled about what we were asking her to do. What we found out last week and also on the second ride was that most of the problems that she has is pretty much all habitual. It's all habits that we have, as humans, have created. She really came into herself on the ground. She's really done well on the ground. But on top of her, she really has these habits that she feels she can win and get away with. One of the things that she has done is she's gotten real stiff on this right side. And when I'm on the ground, she's actually really soft, really supple and easy to work with. So if you notice, I'm kind of pulling and releasing, trying to get her to just work on this softness where she holds this face around and stays soft on this right side here. So I'm just going to kind of keep working on this as we're standing here, just trying to get soft. She's a lot softer to the left. I don't have to, see, she's just much easier there, so I don't have to pull her so much. But to the right, she's really wanting to be a little stiff, so we just need to work more on this right side and getting that softer. I'm going to kind of get right into it today, so that way you're going to see what the third ride here is going to look like and how she's going to react. Excellent. We already did our groundwork. Right now we're going to go ahead and work on this suppling and bending. She really has some high energy issues. And when I mean high energy, it's for her, she really brings out an attitude. She just thinks that she has to go, but not in a way that you might think a racehorse would need to go. She kind of thinks it because she feels that that's what she has to do. She really doesn't. She's kind of a lazy horse. She really doesn't want to go all too fast all the time. But the problem is she thinks that she has to. And that's sometimes a harder problem to fix, because we need to let her know that, hey, we're not up here to race anymore. We're here to have a good time, be easy, be soft, be gentle. So she, on her second ride, she didn't really want to walk a lot, so we had to do some things to work on wanting her to walk and to not run off with us. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of venture around. The second ride versus the first, we started venturing out into bigger circles around the whole arena, kind of working all over the place, not just in one circle that we did on the first episode, our first ride. I might just kind of take these barrels here for a second and just kind of walk around here and bend her around here, work on this suppling, staying soft. That's it. Notice I'm sticking to the right because she's got the left pretty darn well down pat. I really want to work on that right side and just get it much, much better. There we go. We're getting better. You notice she's walking a little bit easier, a little softer. She still has a great want to be back at the gate. So every time I turn and come back to the gate, she tends to go a lot faster and faster. So she's walking a little faster. Now the good thing is she's thinking about trotting, but on her second ride, she really wanted to trot. And what you're going to notice, one of the things that's real important to notice actually, is that there's going to be some times where there's backtracking. you're going to kind of get far along with your horse, and then all of a sudden the horse is going to backtrack. We have a program here, we call it a fast track week, where people come in for an entire week process. Now we also have it on a weekend. That's a real popular clinic of ours, our fast track weekends. But when we do them during the weeks, and they're a week long, what we find is that when people come in and they start working with their horse all week, sometimes about the third, fourth day in, the horse kind of backtracks a little bit because they're kind of, they say enough is enough. I don't need to be doing this anymore. I don't need to be working for you. I'm going to act up a bit. So I'm going to notice probably on third or fourth ride that we're going to backtrack just a little bit as we start to progress forward. Again, all very normal. So here we go. Now we're going to go ahead into the trot. And we want to start making the trot a little bit more consistent than what it has been. So I'm going to ask her to pick up the trot. Let's see if we get the attitude that we had before. Her trot has slowed down quite a bit. But sometimes she gets that kind of jigging trot, I call it. And I don't want her to jig, I want her to do a relaxed trot. She has a hard time just understanding what that means. She still wants to be at the gate. We're working on that. Again, we've only had about 2 sessions really working on that. On the ground, she doesn't try to be at the gate so much. Notice this time she's not as afraid of that door. Now what I'm going to do here, I started on the second ride getting her to hold her shoulder up a little bit because to the right she wanted to dive that shoulder in a lot. Racing back to the gate. I'm not going to stop her from racing. I'm just steering her right now. So I have my hands up on the reins, not because I'm trying to hold her tight or stop her from moving. What I'm doing is I just don't want my hands to have to gather up every single time that I need to touch her face. So if I want to keep that shoulder up right there, I can keep that shoulder up where I can just kind of gather up on that rein real easy without having to have my hands up in my chest or my hands up looking like a chimpanzee. So her head's still up in the air. She kind of looks like a giraffe on crack sometimes. That's okay. We'll get there. But her trot is it's much better. Getting much better. She thinks she's starting to realize that, I think she's starting to realize that just a soft, easy trot is the best way to go about this. She's starting to anticipate that right there. Picking that shoulder up because I know she likes to drop it. I'm going to ask her to come in here, change direction for me. Now, I didn't work on the shoulder as much to the left, but we might need to tonight. Now here's where she used to give me a lot of attitude. Notice the attitude is really not there as much anymore. Oh, not wanting to go forward here. We just moved the round pen off on the sides. So she's kind of looking at the change of the arena. But look how much softer she is. I'm not holding her back here. I'm just steering her, helping her understand where to go. So you'll see my hands pull her over because she's wanting to kind of creep in a little bit. And I want her to go where I'm asking her to go. Now she's going to look at the bridge like she's never seen it before. You're silly. As you can tell, she really is not afraid of that. She walked right by it. And she's been over it before. Now, you might notice that the attitude again is gone for the most part with the ear pinning, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be back. We're our third ride in from just getting started on her. I think her trot's already coming down nicer. But she's still a little drunk from time to time, so that's what I'm here to try and help her, is to stay kind of in between my hands and my legs. we go. So you might see my hands pull again on her, like I said, from time to time. That's just helping her guide to where I want her to go. Much better. I might just kind of bring her over here to the barrel. I'm going to work on softening her again. I'm real happy with that trot right there. Started to get consistent. It's not perfect. Again, third ride in, I don't expect perfection. Excellent, excellent. Real soft there. Let's go ahead and back to the trot, and we're going to work on the trot and then into the canter again. I like how much slower she's going again. I'm not holding her back. I'm not holding her to go this slow. I have my reins collected again just because I don't like it when I put them on a completely loose rein and then I have to gather them up all the time. I like to be able to have my hands ready at a moment's notice to do anything. So again, I'm not holding her. Now right here, she's bringing that shoulder in. There we go. So I'm just going to stop that shoulder. Okay? So all I'm looking for, there we go. So make sure she's not trying to race off on me. She was anticipating the canter there for a second. Good. Here we go. But I'm going to canter here. I'm going to ask her to go. Let's see if she gives me the attitude as from before. A little bit of attitude right here. But not bad. I can't complain too much here. She gives me a little attitude. I'm okay with it. She's got to work herself through it. But now we're going to work on some consistency at the canter. I'm picking you'll see my hands to the outside. I'm keeping her from dropping that shoulder in. A little bit of attitude I'm not concerned about because, you know, I don't always like going to work on Monday morning myself. The attitude will work through itself. Good girl. Stay upright. Stay upright here. Now I'm not holding her back again. I'm just keeping the hands to the outside, bringing her shoulder up. Very important to understand. I'm working the shoulder. Over 60% of a horse's weight is in their front end. And when they get shoulder heavy and drop their shoulder, what happens is that's a big reason for a horse to speed up. Now I'm going to bend her down. Right here, work on the softness. Bend her down here. Soften, soften, soften. That was a much nicer canter. Much better. Let's canter again this way. Oh yeah, good girl. A little bit stiffer this way. This way she'll drop that shoulder, so I'll just pick it up. That inside rein a lot more there. Nice. Now I have her working for me. Inside rein. Changing up the circle just for anticipation reasons. Excellent. Relax my seat. I'm going to bend her down here to soften her up. Excellent. It's getting much, much better. Very good. Okay, I've been letting her just walk around for a second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start working back on the shoulder. After we start working on this shoulder, we're going to start developing in patterns eventually. Start working on straight lines and not being as as a wiggle worm as she can be. But I want to get this shoulder to come in. Bring both hands in. Oh, look at that. Bring that shoulder in. I just want her to try. I don't really need her to do a spin or turn on the haunches just yet, but I like, there we go, getting control of those shoulders. Very, very important. So now I've started to get this where I can bring those shoulders in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start trying to get her to bring her shoulders out. So I'm going to take my inside rein, I'm going to bring it up towards the middle of her neck here and towards the horn, and I'm going to take my outside rein, I'm going to guide to the outside, use my inside leg and bring out, or I'm sorry, inside leg and push out. And I want that shoulder there to push over, just like that. Good girl. Now she's already starting to figure it out pretty quickly, pretty easily, because of the fact that on the second ride, I started doing, not necessarily making her go over, but I was making her stay upright. So I was really important there that I did that to try and help her understand her own balance. So bring that shoulder up and over. Nice. Very good. This is just really important to do. There we go. To really work on her balance. We're going to try going the other way. That was excellent. Bring that inside rein up and over. Awesome. Good girl. Now I know this is a lot less exciting than the first ride, last week's episode. I'm not going to lie though, I really like how she's coming along, but I promise you, I'm sure she's going to backtrack. Very normal. So I like how she's trying for me. And this is what you want to get out of your horse. You want to get try. So push that shoulder over. Awesome. Good girl. Good girl. Now, I want you to know, if it wasn't for the camera, I would probably be going all over the arena doing this. So this is real important to also understand. Do this everywhere. Don't just do it in one small circle. I'm kind of staying around here as our indoor kind of has some dark spots to it from time to time with the lights on. So I'm staying in one area just for camera reasons, but when you're out in the open or doing it yourself, make sure to go all over the place doing this. Let them walk out a little bit and then do it again in a different location. So I'm picking that shoulder up. Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a little figure eight. And when I do a figure eight, I call it a figure eight, but it's more like a digital eight. And we talked about this in the last episode when we had to do it at a canter. I'm going to start trying to get her to stay in between my hands and my legs better at a walk and then at a trot, where I'm going to make one circle, come through the middle, try to make a straight line in the middle as best as possible, like that. Shape the horse to the left, to the other direction that we're going. Bend to the left, or have a little bit of bend to the left. Keep that shoulder up, like that. Keep that shoulder up. Come back through the middle. We're a little bit off on our middle here. We'll make our middle over here. Bend to the right, shape to the right, then go to the right. She likes to drift a little out now. You'll start to notice once you start teaching your horse certain things, they'll use those things a little against you. And not that she's being bad, but she's drifting out now that I've taught her how to bring that shoulder up. Excellent. So now I'm going to do this kind of at a trot. I'm going to make it a little bigger here. So I'm going to start asking her to come to a trot. Now I like that she's wanting to go this slow. I'm not trying to hold her back slow, but I do want her, there we go. Once I start softening her body up a little bit more, I'll get a happy medium. Right now she's either all go or all whoa. So pull and release. She's wanting to drift here. So my hands, now that I know how to get control of that shoulder, my hands are going to shift between picking the shoulder up, like here, she's dropping the shoulder, and then come towards the camera and she's going to start dropping the shoulder or pushing the shoulder out, so I need to bring my hands to the inside. Now here, The more you start steering and you start working on some actual control, you're going to start to notice them showing you even different things. So right here, I'm bringing the shoulder in, using my outside leg to kind of push. Straight, straight, straight as possible. That's what she can do. Wouldn't have thought this thoroughbred could go this slow without trying to think about taking off with me. But I'm pretty happy about this. But I am going to go ahead and push her out just a little bit because I want her to truly understand this exercise and to soften. It's a little easier for her at that slower gait. And see here, she's fighting me just a little bit more. Good girl. And you can go out a little bit more, honey. I like how much she's kind of blowing her nose. That's kind of some relaxation. She doesn't want to lower her head too much. I think, again, that's just a habit that has been taught to her because of humans. I'm not saying that she was abused by any means, but half the time, more than half the time, most of the time, we're the ones that create issue. So I'm just wanting to really work on this steering wheel right through here. Right here, she wants to, there we go. She wanted to anticipate a little bit. If they anticipate too much, you can go around again. With this digital 8 here, one of my favorite exercises because it really gets them to understand all three body shapes. You have left, right, and straight. And you want to get control of all three of them. She's really wanting to just relax and come back. Do you see that? See how much she's wanting to slow down? This is all within just the third ride. She's really starting to come into herself. I'm going to let her walk here because I like the feeling. I know her steering's still a bit off, but I like the feeling that she's just wanting to calm down and come back. So lazy horses are horses I might push a lot more. Horses like her, I like to reward them for wanting to slow down, just like in the groundwork. It's kind of one of those things, the more you push a horse, the slower they want to go. And this horse is really starting to show that. The more I push her, the more she actually starting to realize, hey, it's much easier just to slow down. One thing I'm going to do before we quit, we're going to start working on having a little bit better stop with two hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little bit of a bend to her as I'm walking in a circle here, and then I'm going to apply this outside rein, and I'm going to just kind of even that pressure up and just hold it. And I want her to actually take a step back. There we go. I'm going to ask her to take another step back. Just hold this pressure here. Just hold this pressure here. There. Take another step back. Now she kind of anticipates when people have pulled back on her before, she gives a huge reaction and then she can walk on again. So I'm just going to hold this pressure. Let my halter do the work. Let my halter do the work here. Hold this pressure. There. The way I work on getting a better stop is I work on not the stop, but the transition. And the stop is the transition. It's a transition between forward and reverse. So I want her to go backwards for me. When I pull back, I hold until she backs off of that pressure. Now, she's just thinking about kind of being a yo-yo, going back and forth, back and forth. Very normal, especially for an off-the-track thoroughbred. There we go. So I just wanted to back up here. Good. That's a good stop there. Good breathe out right through there. Good. Excellent. All right, I think this is going to conclude our session for today. I'm going to work for just a moment on working on her just standing here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get off. So I hope you guys tune in next week as we're going to show you a couple of new things to do with her. So that way she doesn't think that every time we come in here that it's always just going to be walk, trot, cantering in both directions and softening. So I'm just going to spend a minute in getting this a little bit better, and then we're going to go ahead and get off and quit. So stay tuned right here at Advantage Horsemanship TV next week.